Open the cabinet under your kitchen sink right now. How many cleaning products are under there? 5, 10, 15, maybe even more? A spray for the bathroom, another one for the toilet, something different for the shower, glass cleaner, kitchen cleaner, stovetop cleaner, floor cleaner, wood cleaner, stainless steel cleaner, and somehow every bottle promises to be the one product you absolutely need. Now imagine the opposite: a calm, beautifully maintained Japanese home. The kitchen counters are clean, the bathroom feels fresh, the floors aren't sticky, the sink isn't covered in residue, and underneath the sink, instead of 15 different bottles, there may be only a handful of simple cleaning staples. Today, on Inside Japanese Living, we're going to focus on two of the simplest: white vinegar and baking soda. They're inexpensive, they're versatile, and when you understand what each one is good at, they can replace several specialized products in your cleaning routine. But the real lesson isn't just about vinegar and baking soda. It's about a very Japanese approach to the home. Use less. Understand what you're cleaning. Choose the simplest tool that works. And don't make everyday life more complicated than it needs to be. Let's start with why so many of us ended up with a cabinet full of cleaning products in the first place. Walk down the cleaning aisle of almost any American supermarket, and the choices are overwhelming. There seems to be a different bottle for every room, every surface, every stain, every smell, and every new product is presented as if the problem it solves requires a completely different formula. But most everyday household cleaning isn't nearly that complicated. A lot of what we're trying to remove falls into a few basic categories: grease, mineral buildup, food residue, soap residue, odors, dust, and everyday grime. Once you begin thinking about the type of dirt instead of the name of the room, cleaning becomes much simpler. That idea fits naturally with the Japanese preference for practical, multi-purpose household tools. You don't necessarily need a powerful chemical for every single surface. You need to understand what you're cleaning and use the simplest, effective option. So let's talk about the first one: white vinegar. And yes, I know, white vinegar doesn't exactly sound exciting. You've probably seen it in your kitchen your entire life, but that's part of the point. Simple doesn't mean ineffective. White vinegar contains acetic acid. Most household white vinegar is around 5% acidity. That mild acidity makes it especially useful for certain types of buildup around the home. Think about the chalky white residue that appears around faucets, the cloudy film on shower glass, mineral deposits inside a kettle, or residue left behind by hard water. Those are exactly the kinds of jobs where vinegar can be useful. One of the smartest ways to use it is also one of the simplest. Don't spray and immediately start scrubbing. Give it time, apply the solution, let it sit, go do something else, then come back and wipe. This is something you'll notice again and again in efficient Japanese cleaning routines. Less frantic scrubbing, more patience. Let the cleaning agent do part of the work for you. For example, if you have mineral buildup around a faucet, you can soak a cloth or paper towel with vinegar and place it around the affected area. Leave it there for a while, then remove it and wipe the surface. Instead of attacking the buildup immediately with force, you're allowing the mild acid time to soften the mineral deposits first. That means less scrubbing, less effort, and often a much cleaner result. The same idea can work on shower glass. Dilute white vinegar with water. Apply it to the glass. Give it several minutes of contact time. Then wipe with a microfiber cloth. For kettles with mineral buildup, vinegar and water are also commonly used for descaling. Just be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions for your specific appliance. And this brings us to an important point. Vinegar is useful, but it isn't appropriate for every surface. Avoid using it on natural stone, such as marble. Acid can damage the surface. You should also be cautious with certain wood finishes, specialty flooring, electronics, and appliances. When you're unsure, check the manufacturer's care instructions first. Simple cleaning still requires understanding your materials. That's actually one of the most important lessons here. Japanese-style simplicity doesn't mean using the same thing blindly on everything. It means using fewer things more intelligently. Another good use for vinegar is everyday kitchen residue on compatible surfaces. Instead of allowing splashes and light grease to sit for days, wipe them while they're still easy to remove. That's where the Japanese habit of frequent, small resets becomes more important than the cleaner itself. The product is only half the system. Timing is the other half. A tiny amount of grease today is easy to wipe away. A week of grease that's been heated over and over again, that's a cleaning project. So, whether you're using vinegar or another gentle cleaner, the basic rule is the same. Clean early, clean lightly. Don't wait until the problem becomes difficult. Now let's move to the second staple, baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate. In Japan, baking soda is commonly known as juso. And while vinegar is mildly acidic, baking soda is mildly alkaline. It also has a fine, powdery texture. That gives it a completely different role in household cleaning. Baking soda is especially useful when you need gentle scrubbing. It can also help absorb certain odors, and when mixed with a little water, it forms a simple cleaning paste that can be useful for stubborn residue. One of the easiest ways to use baking soda is as a powder. Take a sink, for example. Sprinkle a small amount onto the surface. Use a damp sponge or cloth. Gently scrub, then rinse. The fine particles give you a little extra physical cleaning power without immediately reaching for a very aggressive abrasive cleaner. The same idea can work in bathtubs and on other compatible surfaces. Again, always test delicate materials first. The second way to use baking soda is as a paste. Add just enough water to create a thick consistency. Then apply it to the area you're trying to clean. Leave it for several minutes. Come back, gently scrub, then rinse. This can be useful around grout, certain food stains, and areas where you need a little more contact time. And once again, notice the philosophy. Apply, wait, come back. Do less physical work. It's a surprisingly effective change in mindset. The third use is odor control. You may already know the classic example, an open box of baking soda in the refrigerator. You can also use small amounts of baking soda in other places where stale odors tend to develop. Trash cans, some washable fabrics, shoes, carpets. The point isn't to cover the odor with perfume. It's to deal with the source and keep the space feeling neutral. And that is something you'll notice in many Japanese homes. Clean doesn't necessarily mean smelling strongly of lemon, lavender, pine, or artificial fragrance. Sometimes clean smells like nothing, just fresh air, clean surfaces, dry towels, an empty sink, and a room without stale odors. That brings us to one of the most popular combinations people talk about, baking soda and vinegar. You've probably seen the reaction before. Add vinegar to baking soda, and suddenly it starts fizzing dramatically. It looks powerful, and it can be useful for loosening some light surface debris or deodorizing around a drain. But don't mistake the bubbles for magic. For a genuinely blocked drain, you'll usually need to remove the physical obstruction or use the appropriate method for your plumbing. The larger lesson is that you don't need to combine these two ingredients for everything. In fact, They're often more useful separately. Use vinegar where mild acidity helps. Use baking soda where gentle abrasion or odor absorption helps. Two simple tools, two different jobs. Now let's put this into practice around the home, starting with the kitchen. For compatible countertops, use a mild, diluted cleaning solution and wipe regularly rather than waiting for grime to build. For stubborn residue on a stovetop, give the cleaning agent a few minutes to soften the mess before wiping. For the sink, baking soda can provide gentle scrubbing power. For refrigerator odors, baking soda can help keep the space more neutral. But the most important kitchen habit doesn't come from a bottle or a box. It's the reset. After cooking, don't leave the kitchen in complete chaos. Put ingredients away. Wipe the preparation area. Handle the dishes. Clean obvious splashes while they're still fresh. Dry the sink. A 3-minute reset after a meal can save you 20 or 30 minutes later. That is where Japanese cleaning culture becomes much more interesting than the products themselves. It's not about finding the strongest cleaner. It's about never letting small problems become big ones. Now, the bathroom. This is another room where waiting makes cleaning much harder. Water sits, soap residue dries, mineral deposits accumulate, humidity stays trapped. Then suddenly, the bathroom needs an hour of serious scrubbing. Instead, deal with small things continuously. Wipe the sink after using it. Dry obvious water around the faucet. Ventilate the room. Squeegee the shower glass. Use vinegar for mineral residue only on compatible materials. Use baking soda where gentle scrubbing is appropriate. Again, small actions. Repeated often. The bedroom works the same way. Baking soda is sometimes used to help freshen certain fabrics or carpets before vacuuming. But the larger Japanese lesson is prevention. Air out the room when conditions allow. Keep laundry from accumulating on the floor. Return items to their designated places. Make the bed. Don't let 10 tiny, unfinished tasks become one overwhelming room. Then there are the living areas. You may not need much cleaning product here at all. Most of the work is simply putting things back. Fold the blanket. Return the remote. Take the glass to the kitchen. Put the book back on the shelf. Straighten the cushion. These actions take seconds, but together, they determine whether a room feels calm or chaotic. This is why buying more cleaning products doesn't necessarily create a cleaner home. A product can remove dirt, it cannot create a routine, and routine is what keeps a home consistently clean. This is where the Japanese approach becomes powerful. Instead of asking, "What product do I need for this room?" try asking, "What is actually causing the problem?" If it's mineral buildup, you need something appropriate for mineral deposits. If it's physical residue, you may need gentle abrasion. If it's clutter, no cleaner on earth is going to solve it. You need to put things away. If it's odor, first find the source. If it's grease, clean it before it has time to harden. If it's humidity, improve ventilation. Once you start looking at your home this way, you realize how many problems don't require another specialized bottle. And that can save more than money. It saves space. It saves decision-making. It makes your routine easier to remember. And it makes cleaning feel less like a complicated weekend project. So, here's a simple challenge for this week. Don't throw away everything under your sink. You don't need to become extreme. Instead, pay attention to what you actually use. Start with 1 bottle of plain white vinegar and 1 box of baking soda. Learn what surfaces in your home they're appropriate for. Keep a microfiber cloth nearby. And for 7 days, focus on one simple principle. Prevent buildup. On day 1, reset the kitchen. Don't wait for the end of the week. Wipe the surfaces after cooking. Put things back. Leave the sink clean. On day 2, Focus on the bathroom. Wipe away water before it dries. Deal with residue while it's still easy to remove. On day 3, look at the living room. Forget cleaning products entirely. Just put everything back where it belongs. Then continue. A few minutes each day. Small resets, simple tools, less accumulation. At the end of the week, look underneath your sink again. How many products did you actually use? Which ones are essential? Which ones have been sitting there for months? And which ones did you buy because the label convinced you that you needed a separate product for one tiny problem? You don't necessarily have to throw them away, but when they run out, you may decide you don't need to replace every single one. That's the bigger lesson. A cleaner home doesn't have to mean a more complicated cleaning system. Effective doesn't always mean expensive, and simple doesn't mean primitive. Sometimes, simplicity comes from understanding exactly what a tool does and using it well. White vinegar, baking soda, a few good cloths, regular ventilation, and the habit of cleaning small problems before they become large ones. That's not a miracle cleaning hack, it's a system. And it's very much in the spirit of Japanese living. Use what you need. Take care of what you own. Avoid unnecessary excess, and maintain your home a little at a time. Because the goal isn't to spend your life cleaning. The goal is to create a home that stays comfortable enough that you can actually enjoy living in it. If you'd like to discover more simple Japanese habits for creating a calmer, cleaner, and more intentional home, subscribe to Inside Japanese Living, and I'll see you in the next video.